Newsflash to all of our listeners, there is life outside of the chair. You don't
Yes.
have to hold a drill 24/7 to be happy. Hello and welcome to Mommy Dentist and Business Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Grace Young, and I would love for all of our listeners to get to know our next guest and Dr. Sapna Amin, who has been with us, meaning the MDIB community, for a very long time. She is our co-regional MDIB leader for the DFW chapter in Texas and client services director at Dental Buyer Advocates. Welcome to the show, Dr. Amin.
Thank you, Grace. So gracious to have you on the show or to have me on the show today. I'm so happy that you invited me.
Oh, well, I love having mommy dentists on our podcast because who better to highlight than the real people that are doing the MDIB thing day in, day out. And honestly, you are so relatable. Something you have been a tremendous part of this community. And I have to share the world with you and all the knowledge you offer, not just as a MDIB, but a fitness guru. And now I want to even really look at what you're doing for dental buyer advocates too. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. I'm going to pack it all in 30 minutes. So let's get started. For all of our listeners who don't know you, what do you want them to know about yourself, what you do, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. Oh, loaded question. Okay. So you're right. I've been with the mommy dentist community forever. I graduated dental school in 2008. 2 years after graduation, not knowing a single thing, was in a terrible associateship, so decided to buy a practice. And there was no mommy dentist in business at that time. So I learned the hard way, learned with, reading books mainly at that time, reading articles, being on Dental Town. Some advice was good. Most advice was not good. Ups and downs. I think that was kind of when you were also a business owner. So I've owned my practice since 2010. Then I grew my practice and went from like 5 operatories to 10 operatories in 2021. So I basically took my practice and merged it with another practice that was down the road. So, you know, a lot of things have happened since then too. I've been dealing with a lot of neck problems, ever since I graduated dental school, I've been having herniated neck problems, where I would just feel it from time to time, but it would never be anything that would cause me to stop working.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just kept going and going and going and going and had this notion that we got to do everything and we got to be good at everything. And eventually that caught up to me. And so then I decided that I kind of needed to be less in the driver's seat and more as far as in the clinical operatory and kind of
Mm-hmm.
learning more of the business aspect. So I learned again a lot from coaches, hired, lots of coaches that were expensive, but obviously I learned a lot because I was able to grow my practice and do all the things I needed to do. And that's kind of when mommy dentist kind of came into my world around, I think right at the beginning. I didn't come to the Chicago Summit. That's the only summit I haven't been to. But other than
Amazing.
that, as you know, I've been to all the other summits. As soon as the opportunity to be a regional co-leader came up, I took on that opportunity just because I feel that the mommy dentist in business has so much to give. And it's given me so much. It's given me the ability to pivot. I no longer work in clinical dentistry. I still have my practice. I don't own all of my practice, but I still manage mainly the doctors and the administrative and the financial parts of it, but I'm not there to the day to day. And one of the first summits that I attended early on, I can't remember which one, but this was one of the cards that I had, and
Mm-hmm.
it says, "If you can imagine it, you can't have it." So I put that on my vision board, and I'll read it again. If you can't imagine it, you can't have it. And mommy dentists in business show every day to the members in our group that if you have a goal in mind, there are ways to get around it, or there are networks of people that can help you get there in this community itself. And the more that you stay involved and the more that you put your story out there, the more that you can pivot. And honestly, that's what I did. I was always told by my best friends, a CFO at her company, and then her husband's an attorney. And they both were like, gosh, you should do like consulting. You're so good with knowing what's going on in your business. And even my husband and my accountant's always been like, dang, you run a lean machine. Like, how do you do that? Your overhead is this low. And I'm looking at other dentists and they're not able to do that. And blah, blah, blah. So I took that information and knowledge and kind of researched opportunities in dentistry that I could still feel a part of dentistry. Cause believe me, it's not been easy. I miss being at the chair. If I would could still do clinical dentistry, I would still do it today because I'm only 42.
Yeah.
And you know, I had no desire to retire clinically very
Sure.
early on, but
Sure.
things happen. And as we know in this group, we can overcome things.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I've prioritized wellness, fitness, that sort of thing early on in my career as well. But basically, now I work as a clinical service director at Dental Buyer Advocates, and
Okay.
that is a dental CPA firm slash certified planner.
Okay.
And he has all he does is he helps buyers buy dental practices.
Well,
Um,
before we do
okay,
that, before we go into that direction, I want to unpack because you just really gave an extensive history of yourself and what you do, and I wanted to break it down a little bit just so that the
sure,
listeners can follow your
sure,
story and have a little more clear idea of your path in case anybody is going down a similar path. Now, you
right,
said that you started your practice and you grew it to double the size or the double number of
yeah,
chairs. And then you mentioned that you are no longer 100% owner. Um, so, where in this timeline chronologically did you give up some of your ownership? So, what percentage do you own? Who owns the other percent? Was that something that was a plan of yours with an associate, or did you partner with somebody outside of your dental practice? How did you do
yeah.
that part of being 100% to not 100%? And when you went from 5 chairs or to 10, did you do that while you were 100% owner, or did you do that when you brought on a partner?
Yeah, great question. So I feel like you always have to have the goal in your head and then kind of work backwards. So as I was starting to have neck problems and I was realizing my body was not working to the capacity that I needed it to, despite PT and chiropractic therapy and having consults with doctors and all like functional medicine, everything. I mean, I tried it all. Um, I realized, okay, I need to figure out how to get my practice to the leanest it can, to the most efficient it can, to the best producing practice, because I know that ultimately I can't carry this on as a producer in my practice. So I worked with my coach. It's called Mastery Lab with Clinical Mastery Labs or Clinical Mastery Series, sorry, here in Dallas. And I basically told her in 4 years, I need to retire from clinical dentistry. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't know if I want to be an owner the whole time or and kind of be on the outskirts and just allowing an associate to run it
Hmm.
completely,
Hmm.
or if it's a hybrid system or what. So obviously goals are changing constantly with anything that you take on. So we worked backwards. We figured out, okay, what's the profitability I want? What's sustainable? How do I figure out what I want to take home? And then you work backwards. It's a mathematical formula. And from there, then I sought out on my own kind of it is like a DSO, but it's a private DSO here in Texas. At that time, they only had 5 or 6 other practices. So just think someone who owns multiple practices. And I like their philosophy a lot. It was you keep your practice how it's branded. If you're out of network, great. If you're fee for service, cool. If you take some PPOs, wonderful. But let's maximize, work together, and figure out also how to like onboard an associate. Because again, I had an associate at my smaller practice just one day a week. She's actually a mommy dentist. But that was just one day a week, you know?
Hmm.
And here I am talking about having an associate full time. I need to take more of the back seat. be 2 days let go, like personally, emotionally, all of that. Like
Mhm.
patients can't see me all the time.
Mhm.
How does that work? Are we going to see numbers drop? And so, with the support of them, it's called Pearl Street Dental Partners. I was able to have them acquire the majority of my practice, and I still have a percentage. And again, I still help manage my practice because that's something I wanted. I wanted some autonomy. I don't
Mhm.
want somebody coming in and doing a cookie cutter style type of situation or transition. And it's worked out well, and I worked and fulfilled my contract that I had. I had to stay on for a couple of years. And again, I was very part time. I went from pretty much 2.5 days to 2 days to like one day a week, and
Mhm.
really just honing in on Invisalign and sleep. Those were
Mhm.
the two things. Because again, my body wouldn't allow me, like, I would do one crown prep and I would start to have tremors in my hand.
Sure.
So it was something I had to figure out and pivot. And it was constantly pivoting, and it was constantly resetting goals and figuring out what worked best for me. And so I'm still involved. I go up to the practice a couple of times a week for meetings. I still work with my office manager. I'm constantly looking at financials. And that's how and then we've onboarded an associate, and now we have another associate. So
Great.
it's, it takes, a lot of expertise as well, but a lot of mindedness as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And, it is a transition of reverse engineering your situation, but many people don't open up or discuss the emotional side of it and the
yeah,
mindset side of it. And that takes just as much work than doing all the work
sure.
because now you are, like you said, not able to see all your patients. One day you'll walk in and you'll see a patient they have no idea who you are. And you're
Yeah,
like, I built this,
yes,
from scratch and I'm the owner, but they have no idea who you are. And it can take a toll if you let it, if you get your pride in the way, or if you think in terms of emotional attachment. And I think listeners who might find themselves in a similar situation or head in that direction have to work on the mindset as well and really be okay with letting go of that part of your identity because it is your
mm-hmm,
identity, right? For so
mm-hmm,
many years, the solo practitioner, 14, 15 years, and then suddenly you're taking a step back, as in you're behind the scenes
mm-hmm,
or you are not front patient facing as much. And then it takes a period of adjustment and letting go of the reins in that regard. You still sounds like you have control over running some of the operational side of your business, but you sound very happy with the decision that you made for yourself. Now, in setting this up for yourself, I know that you're thinking of retirement as well. Did you did you think, okay, in this reverse engineering system, I need to push out a model for retirement? And if you did,
mm-hmm.
how have you set yourself up for retirement?
Yeah, great question. So same thing. Everybody kind of knows what they're comfortable with as far as how they want to live. What are some of the things they need? For me and my husband, we travel quite a bit. I mean, in my E2M accountability group jokes with me because I think every month I have a trip, and that's just how I grew up. I mean, we've traveled a lot, and it's just something I love to do. And my husband, whether it's with my husband, whether it's going to MDiv events, sometimes it's just my daughter and I, Bella. But one of the things was early on learning about real estate as well. So that came quite as soon as the health problems were starting to kind of surface through, and I noticed there's no way I'm going to be able to do this for another 15 more years. We looked, and my husband and I learned a lot about real estate, and he knew a little bit before. We already had a couple of properties and things like that, but now our portfolio has grown, and it's not something I knew, and I had to learn, but with books and podcasts and attending seminars, and there's even like a dental real estate conference that goes on every year and things like that. But really learning that information has helped us as well. He does more of the stocks and the bonds and that sort of thing, investments, and I'm not really into that. But, I find that with a good portfolio of real estate that's helped me figure it out. And honestly, I wasn't even going to work after retiring from clinical dentistry. It's just, I'll kind of explain that the position fell into my lap, and we can kind of talk about that here in a second.
Well, I think that's great that you are filling your bucket with so many wonderful things that make you fulfilled and you sound happy. And newsflash to all of our listeners, there is life outside of the chair. You don't
Yes.
have to hold a drill 24/7 to be happy or to make money
Hmm.
or to set yourself up for retirement. And you had mentioned dental buyer advocates, and we wanted to kind of head in that direction now as far as what that means, what you do. And it sounds very interesting now that you're spending less time in the clinical chair and floor. How did this position land in your lap, and what do you do?
Yeah, great question. So again, honestly, it really goes a lot back to the mommy dentist and business community. Every day we see posts about people being so unhappy with either mainly about ownership. And I'm not going to lie, I still struggle with that as far as staffing being the number one problem and things like that. But people like you and Josie and Stephanie that have pivoted outside of clinical dentistry and have found something that fulfills them still, is amazing to see. And it's an inspiration, to people like us who I thought I was stuck. That's all I knew. It was dentistry. I mean, you graduate college, you go to dental school, and then I became a dentist. And, I come from an Asian family. So it was either you become a doctor, an engineer, or a doctor, you know, and even my parents gave me a hard time about being a dentist, but nevertheless, you figure out kind of what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what is something that you love to do. And as being one of the co-regional leaders for the DFW chapter, I would often get private messages. Hey, doc, can you help me look at this practice? Do you think it's profitable? Should I buy it? What are you thinking? And I was like, oh my gosh. So as I started to think and really have a session of brainstorming in the summer, actually was in the spring is kind of when I retired from clinical dentistry. I thought, I mean, and when you say I'm happy, yes, I'm very happy now, but there was a moment where I really was not happy with the situation and I hadn't come to terms. And that's everybody goes through that process, whether it's, pivoting in one way or another. But I figured it out, and I remembered that I had listened to some podcasts about this, who is my boss now, Brian Hanks. And he has been doing this for about 10-ish years. It's called Dental Buyer Advocates. And he even has a tax site called Dental Tax. So he helps dentists as well do tax returns and all the things you need for your practice. But I remembered that I had listened on because when I was merging my practice and learning about
Mm,
how to get EBITDA and all of
mm,
those terms that you have to know, I didn't know what the heck that all meant. And he breaks it down so easily. He has podcasts
mm,
that are for free.
mm,
And I remember thinking, gosh, like I know this information. I feel like this would be a good fit. And I saw that he had a dentist on staff and I saw kind of what she did. And sure enough, I was kind of researching the thing and I reached out to him, cold called him,
mm,
and he
mhm,
said he appreciated that. Like we had a conversation, I emailed him, I followed up with him. He liked that I was a practice owner before, that I had bought a practice, I had sold a practice, I had merged my practice. So I really had been, exposed to all kinds of acquisitions kind of in the dental field. And
mm.
it was an intense interview process.
Sure.
So don't get me wrong. It was intense, learning about financials and how to
Yeah.
teach, basically how I teach clients how to look at a P&L that a seller has. And does this look profitable? Does the overhead make sense? Do you do these types of procedures? Can you sustain this? It's not all about does the equipment look good and how does the practice look on the outside, but truly financially, is this a healthy practice? Does it support your goals, financially? And then what's a good price to pay for the practice? So I help with valuations and negotiations.
I
And
love that.
yeah, it's definitely different. It's using a different part of my brain, but I love it, because it's something that I already do for my practice every day, day in and day out. And one thing with working with the DSO is they would send me monthly P&Ls, and they have
Yeah.
all these different things that you have to look at more than just a solo practitioner. And
Mhm.
that's kind of how I learned. And I just layered all the knowledge and information I had. And again, from posts that people put on Mommy Dentist and Business, I'm like, oh, I know that. I know that. Like, I know what they're talking about. And so I think
Yeah,
it gave me
that's
the
great.
confidence to
That's
move
so
forth.
good. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I'm so glad. Now, um, you mentioned Mommy Dentist and learning from the community. What role has our community played in your current transition?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the overwhelming support. There's nothing like, the sisterhood that we have in our community, and you're part of that.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Thank you.
for anyone to just send me a random text to say, gosh, you're so inspiring. But also in our official group, I put a post, and I didn't do this in the regular group, but again, our official group is just a really tight knit community, and I was
Mhm.
discussing about my disability process and how I thought it was, it is a process. So for any of those going through that and trying to get disability benefits and whatnot, I know. So reach out to me because I know how hard that is. But nevertheless, so many people private message me from that post. I can't even tell you, Grace, like 15 to 20
Yeah.
women that
Yeah.
are in my age bracket, if
Yeah.
not younger, that are like, I don't know what to do. I feel lost. Like, how are we going to get through this? XYZ, I'm dealing with this too. I have a tremor. I have migraines. I have XYZ. Like, I can't work. And I'm just like, but we don't have to do clinical dentistry to consider ourselves dentists. And I think
Absolutely.
that's the key to take is understand that if you're miserable in whatever situation you're in, figure out a way. There is a way. And I promise our group is
There's
creative.
always, there's always a way. And, for everyone who might just maybe not going through a physical ailment, but burnt out
Right.
or whatnot, and you just need to take a break, you can take a break. And you might think as
Mm-hmm.
an owner, I can't take a break. And excuse me, I just want to tell everyone that there are ways, especially if you are an owner, to step aside or step back and plan with your advisors, plan with your
Mm-hmm.
trusted advisors, and it's okay to take a break. I took a break too for a while, and now I'm somebody else's associate. Never in a
Yeah,
million years did I think I was going
sure.
to be an associate. Never in a million years did you think you were going to partner with
No,
DSO.
right,
Crazy things happen. Never in a million years did you think you're going to be a director at some company
right,
doing
right.
this,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
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 And so this is living proof that life goes on. And like you said, you're always a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
Like no
Mm-hmm.
one is going to strip you of that title. You are always
Right.
doctor, right? And I
Right.
just want to extend this hope and encouragement to our listeners to know that you will be okay. And if you want to go back to it, you can always go back to it if there's not a physical circumstance that's keeping
Mm-hmm.
you from it. But honestly, with all the knowledge that you have, Sapna, with everything that you've done to create a successful practice and your strong leadership skills and your personal skill sets, you are great at what you're doing and offering people, and you're helping so many doctors to
Thank you.
find
Yeah.
their way. And that is remarkable. We appreciate you and we appreciate all the help that you provide to the women in our group. And that's what I do love about our group is
Yeah.
you can always find someone to help you no matter what
Yep.
situation, and you can be as private as you want about it or as
Right.
public as you want about it.
Sure.
And that's the beauty of it. What made you decide to step up into this leadership position with MDibs in the DFW area? And what has that been like for you in in this position?
Yeah. Great question. It's a volunteer position, right? All of us regional leaders. So thank your regional leaders if you're in.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
honestly, just I was early on in dental school. I was with the American Academy of Women Dentistry, AUD. And from there, I just love that we need to empower women in our industry, right? For the longest time, the profession was very male dominated. But at the same time, there's a niche of women being mommies and, running the show, and we're constantly doing XYZ. And I just want to give back. I've gone through my burnout as well. This is before kind of my neck issues and all this. This was back in 2017, and I've lectured about it, here locally. As far as, I just want to give back any way I can to our community, especially our local community. And it's great. Like yesterday, I had a phone call with a member she's not a member yet. And she wants to know, what is Mommy Dentist in business? She's heard about it. How does she get on our regional group? Told her the steps. Here's what you do. What's the difference between the official, non-official group? And I just feel that what you've developed and what you've trailblazed, as I always say, I'm one of your biggest supporters and fans, is that there is just so much here. And if you're in our group, you're one of us, no matter if you're a DSO, an associate, an owner, you're in whatever state, even if you're a Longhorn and I'm a Sooners, I'm still going to support you no matter what, no matter how. And if I can get back in any way. And again, I spent a lot of money on consultants and coaches and learning things, just from trial and error. And if there's a way I can help somebody, I'm going to do it.
I love that. And
So,
that's what I love
yeah.
about you and your spirit. And for again, listeners, if you want to get in touch with Dr. Sapna, I mean, she'll share with everybody her contact, but people like Dr. Sapna don't come around that often. And
Oh, thank you.
we love people and women and doctors that embrace empowering and lifting other people up. And you can hear it in Dr. Sapna's voice, how passionate, how excited, how loving and caring she is. And the regional leaders of Mommy Dentists, like she said, are all volunteers with whom we couldn't run this organization to help as many women as possible. And if you are already in the group and you would like to be a volunteer leader, please reach out. The more the merrier. Now,
Yeah.
Dr. Sapna, what is your favorite Mommy Dentist event and why?
Oh, that's getting harder and harder. So, as you know, I'm part of E2M, which now it's kind of just our own Mommy Dentist and Business
Yes.
fitness program.
Yes.
Because I don't know what's going on with all the drama and all the stuff, but
I just follow you. I'm like, what is she
I know.
doing? What's she doing?
So I will have to say it's somewhat between Summit and CEO. CEO, because honestly, I've learned so many tools to run my business so much more efficiently and to look like an expert of running a business, from getting all the resources, books, all the things. And of course, when it's in Phoenix, Arizona at the Fairmont, you can't beat that. And it's a smaller group.
Yeah.
I think at that time, like 50 of us. And we even stayed a few days extra and went to Sedona and
Yes.
hiked. And
Yes.
we hope to do that again at one point. But the second kind of now it's Summit, because I got to meet so many of my E2M fitness newbies that had
Yes.
never been to a Mommy Dentist Summit or event. And B, like I felt like I knew them just because we post every day and what we're doing, and we
Yes.
pretty much share our highlights of the day and how we suck
Yes.
at not eating all the right foods.
I know. I'm like, is
We're
this
trying.
okay? Can I eat this?
It's
No,
like,
not
is
on the
there
list.
ever a day without cheese? I'm trying. I'm trying.
I was like,
No.
oh, oh,
But it's just nice to genuinely hear from people and just hug them, embrace them, see them in
yeah.
person. We danced all night, like probably shouldn't have, but we still made it to class. you know?
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
moms do. We can stay up all night and still get
Yeah.
up in 2 hours. So that's not
We
hard
were
for
dead
moms.
for a week. It took me a week to recover because these gals are younger than me, and I was like, oh my God, I feel my age.
Oh, stop. You like blow everyone out of the water on that
Yeah.
dance floor. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh
you
yes. And I love the dance competition. You know that. I need
That's
Penny
the
and her
best.
Penergy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. And
Oh,
for all of our listeners, please check out one of our events. The next one that's coming up is our CEO Roundtable for official members and practice owners. We welcome owners also who have sold, but they have so much knowledge to give. So please join us there. And then our pediatric symposium, which is amazing. It's coming
that
up.
was great too in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
last year.
This is
Yes,
part two. And I couldn't fit all these amazing speakers in one meeting. So we had to
sure.
do part two. But the part two, the speakers are just amazing. You don't have to be a pediatric dentist. If you treat children, you are more than welcome to come. And this event is
Mhm.
different in that spouses are welcome, team is welcome, and it's
Awesome.
open to everybody.
Associates.
So
Yeah.
associates, everyone who wants to learn can come. And I really, and you heard Dr. Sapna, she does a lot of Invisalign. That Invisalign is coming, and I'm excited to learn about using
Yay.
their product to do expansion
Yay.
for
Yeah, I don't
people.
know. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
seen that, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
that's what I'm looking forward to. But
But my overall favorite event,
yes,
New Orleans Summit. I
that,
went in knowing two people, Melissa Skaggs, because she was in dental school a few years above me, and Nicole Bellingham from Dallas.
oh
Now,
my
we
goodness.
didn't go together. None of us flew together. Just that I was like, "Oh, you're going? Okay, cool. I kind of know you, don't know you."
Yeah.
And made some of my most lifetime memorable friends there, like friendships, sisterhoods, Afshan, Iman, like, oh my God, Nikki, like totally just blew me away. It was
I love
amazing.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing with us your time, your energy, your passion.
Absolutely.
You are so impressive. You are just like a magnet. People just are so drawn
Thank
to
you.
you. And I would love any of our listeners who are listening, if they would like to contact you for any questions, whether it's about disability, whether it's about practice transitions or even about exercise and fitness and real estate. Wait, what else should we list?
Seriously.
Just motherhood, everything, travel. You're like the jack
Travel.
of all trades. Oh boy, I don't know if you want to give out your email, but what's the best way to find you?
I think find me on MDibs. I'm there. I'm on both sides, both regular and or official and non-official. But it's Sapna Amin hyphenated McCann, MAKAN. DM me. I always answer. If I don't answer right away, I'll get to you. I promise.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being with us. And listeners, right now, if you go to dentwoo.org or Google Dentwoo Dental Podcast, there's a contest. And Mommy Dentist Podcast is listed. If you can vote for us so that we can win fan favorite, we have won 3 years. They
Yay!
list like
Congrats.
Thank you. They list like two or three fan favorites every year. And
Okay.
there's different categories, but we're in the fan favorite category. So if you please vote for us so that we can have our little bragging rights little logo about 2024, we would so appreciate your help. And we would love to be able to say that we earned it with our community. It is an
Yay.
award that is shared amongst many. So thank you all for listening and supporting us. And Dr. Sapna, we will see you at the next event. All right.